Hello everyone, my name is Himanshu and today we are going to talk about star args and star kwargs in Python. Args and kwargs are important in Python because they allow you to pass unspecified number of variables within your function, and when you are writing the definition of your function, you need not to worry about how many variables will be passed to your function. Hence, it is an interesting topic. So in my video, I have explained how this is implemented and how it works. So please watch this video till the end. And now let's jump to the explanation part. So star args is argument and star kwargs is keyword argument. So these two are pretty much simple, and in order to understand their implementation, let's understand a basic example. So for example, I have a function f that performs addition of two number, say x comma y. Now I have to implement another function on this similar note, but for an instance, consider that you don't have the predefined understanding of how many variables will be used. So here I was aware that I have to add two variables, but suppose I don't know how many variables I'm going to add here, and that value is provided during the runtime. So I have two options to do that. The first option is that create a function with a parameter x, then start the loop, request user to enter value every time, and then sum the two number and then return the value. This is a lengthy process. Now the other easy and efficient way to do is using the star args or star kwargs. So when I use star args, I use the format as star args within the function, and during the runtime it can take as many value as user want to pass. So suppose I can give the value 2 comma 3 comma 4, and suppose it performs an addition, so I will get the response as 2 plus 3 plus 4. Or suppose if I use star kwargs, then I can pass as many key value pair within the function as parameter, and I can use it maybe in later implementation of that function. So the basic understanding for star and kwargs is to keep in mind then these two are unpacking variable. Now how they are unpacking variable is, suppose I have a function fa which is written as star args comma star kwargs. Now during the runtime, suppose I give the value as fa 2 comma hash comma x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 3. So it will automatically unpack these variables as args and kwargs, and args will be 2 comma hash and kwargs will be x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 3. So kwargs will be the key value pair and args will be the single arguments. So if you see here that in this implementation, I'm not worried about how many values I'm entering, but I am just entering the value, and whenever I enter the value on during the runtime, the args accepts the single arguments and the kwarg accepts the key value pair. And I don't have to worry about the pre-understanding of the amount of unspecified arguments that I'll be passing within my programming. So this enables you to be flexible around the runtime of the count of variable you will be using. So it becomes easier for a programmer, and it's more efficient way to use args or kwargs in this scenario. The type of arg is a tuple, which we will be seeing during the implementation part using the Python Jupyter notebook. And the type of kwarg is dict, which is dictionary. So I hope this has helped you to clear your doubts about args and kwargs. Now let's jump towards the practical implementation using Jupyter notebook. So first we will understand what is args. So to understand that, let's define a function that prints the argument, and say that I define a function print arg, and within this function I pass the parameter as star args. Now suppose within this function I print the value that I'm going to pass. So let's print the values, and I want to pass the value as this is my function, and I give the value here as args. And also I wanted to check that what is the type of this argument, so let's check that as well here. So I will write type arg, right? So this function, when will be executed and the values will be passed, this should print this argument and the type. So let's execute this function, and now let's print the output for this function. So let me pass the value as a comma, for example b, and then let me pass the value as integer value as well, and let me pass a name as well. That's for your convenience. So if you see this, I'm not limiting, so I can pass as much value as I want. And if I run this, okay, so it's not taken the value. Star args. Oh, yes. Yeah. So if you see this, this has printed all the values. So this is my function, and this has print the value as a, b, 1, 2, and Himanshu, and obviously the class of this args is tuple. Now as I said, this is not limited to the number of value which is passed during the runtime, so you can pass as many value as you want. So let's include one more value, that's 23, and see if this works. So in the runtime this has taken this value as well. So this clearly shows that if we are not clear about how many parameters we have to pass in a function, we can use this star args here. Now let's see the functionality of kwargs. So now let me define this kwargs here. So I'll just write kwargs for print kwargs, and let me give the parameter is star kwargs. Now this is my function, and I will give the value here as kwargs, and let me understand the type for this. Now let me run this, and let's pass the value of this function. So let me give the value as name is equal to Himanshu, and say I pass the age is equal to 28, and suppose I run this. So it has taken the two key value pair, name as Himanshu and age as 28. Now in order to check the case for kwargs about the limitation of the parameter, so suppose I give one more value, where is profession is equal to software engineer. Suppose I run this again. So if you see here, this has taken this value here, profession is equal to SE. So it clearly states that there is no limitation for the input parameters. And again, the class for this kwargs star kwargs is dict, which means it is dictionary type. So as we understood in our explanation part that these star args and star kwargs are the unpacking variables. So let's understand that functionality through a small function. So suppose I define a function as unpack variable, and for that unpack variable I give the parameter as star args and star star kwargs. Okay, now let's define the functionality. So I will just print these values. So let me print this here. So suppose I print here as star args and I print here as quarks. So if I pass the value here within this unpack variable function, it should automatically consider args and quarks as per the implementation. So let's run this unpack variable function, and now let me pass the value to this. So suppose I pass the value as a comma b comma 1 2 3, and let me pass some key value pair as well. So I will pass name is equal to Himanshu and age is equal to say 28, right? And let me now execute this. So if you see this, this has considered the first part, the args has considered the single arguments a, b, and 124, and uh, the second print command has considered the um, key value pairs. So let me remove this here so that I want to print the type of the args here, and let me run that as this is my argument for args and this is my argument for kwargs. Now let me run this. So yes, so this is my argument for args, and the argument that I have passed are a, b, 1 2 3, and the argument for kwarg is name Himanshu and age is 28, and obviously the type here is tuple and the type here is dict. So I hope the implementation within the Python programming is clear for star args and star star kwargs. Now with a small example, let's understand how we can use decorator to understand stars, args, and star quarks. And if you're not aware about how decorator works, then you can refer to my previous video and I will add the link in the description. So let's implement a decorator for this. So I'll start with defining a parent function here. So our same implementation technique. So parent function, and this parent function will expect a parameter which is the function. Now let's define the child function. Now this child function, let me pass the parameter as args and star star quarks. Okay, and in the implementation I will return this function which I am passing through the parameter, and I will give the value as star args and star star quarks. Okay, so why I have passed the value within this function as star args and star quarks is because I don't want to limit the input parameter. I can use different functions with different input parameter within this child functionality, and once this is done I will return the child function, which is the standard implementation for decorator. Now let me execute this, and let me run this as decorator. So I will give this, and then I will define a function. Suppose I want to define the function as add, and I give two values. I give the value as x comma y, right? And I'm doing nothing but simply returning the sum of these two numbers, which is x plus y. Okay, so when I execute this, okay, this is giving me error somewhere. and it's not mentioned. Okay, let me run this again, and then yes. So I have given parent function, I've used parent function as a decorator, and then for an argument I have defined a function add that expects two variable, and then I'm returning the sum of those variables. Now if I pass the value as 2 comma 3, now this is working. Now through this decorator I'm passing the function add, and the input parameter are 2. Now suppose I want to add 3 number, so I'll simply change here as x comma y comma z. Yeah, and then I'm returning the value here as z. So here I'm summing 3 values. Now let me execute this and then say I add now 2 comma 3 comma 4, so it has given me 9. So within this decorator I'm passing a function which is using the parameter as args and kwargs here in the implementation, so I can use as many input parameters I want by changing the definition of the function here outside, and you use it here inside the decorator. Now these are single arguments, so I can remove this here for your convenience. I can show you as the args part is only used. So let's run this one and this one. So if it has given value 5 now, and it has given value 9. So if we want to use key value pairs here, then we can use star star quarks and then pass the values as per our requirement. So in this video we have understood about the implementation of args and quarks, how unpacking variable is basically implemented by just passing the value here, and then here we understood the implementation of args and quarks using the decorator. So I hope you find this video interesting, and if you have suggestion for me to create any video on any of the topic on Python or machine learning, please do comment for that and I'll try to create that video. And if you like my channel and my videos, please do subscribe, and see you in the next video.